Lebanon's militant Hezbollah group and its allies have lost the parliamentary majority they've held since 2018, according to final results from the Lebanese elections. Well, for more on this story, let's talk to our correspondent Shona Murray, who's in Beirut with the EU Election Observer team. Shona, good to see you there. Tell us, is this a surprising shock result? And if so, how's it being received?
I would say something of a surprise, maybe not a shock result, because we've seen anti-establishment movements sweep across the country since around 2019. You also have a backlash because of the lack of the full and transparent investigation into the devastating port of Beirut explosion in 2020. So certainly there was an anti-establishment feeling here in Lebanon. However, having spoken to voters ahead of the poll, nobody felt that any change was possible. Now it looks like Hezbollah will lose its majority. It had around 70 seats of the 128 in Parliament. It'll fall short of the 65 needed to have a majority. We don't know what kind of impact that will have, of course, because they still will be a strong voice. But what's, I suppose, somewhat surprising is that around 12 candidates, opposition candidates, will take seats. And that's something that people didn't necessarily expect to happen. Turnout was pretty low, though, Tokes, as we know, about 41.5%.
Shona, tell us what the EU election observers you've been spending time with over the last few days, what have they made of this result and, and the whole process?
Well, they've been quite excoriating in their assessment so far, which is a preliminary statement saying that there was widespread vote buying by some campaign parties, which did influence the outcome of the election, that there were party agents hanging around voting booths, ensuring that people voted a particular way, that there was obstruction of some campaigns, in particular for female candidates. So actually very negative assessment so far of the whole process of this. And I caught up with Jarek Domanski, who is the Deputy Chief Observer for the European Union, and I asked him a little bit about these irregularities.
In the context of the financial crisis, the role of money, the role of financial resources in this electoral process do have a direct impact on the voters' choice. And the mission regrets that these instances have been present and observed and reported, as I mentioned, in this electoral process.
And that was Jarek Domanski, the Deputy Chief Election Observer from the European Union, speaking to me earlier today, where the EU has said there was widespread voter intimidation and poorly trained voting staff at polling booths across Lebanon.